Today, I'm going to talk about the two rifles that are sitting in front of me here that at a distance, you wouldn't hardly be able to tell the difference between them. But I'm going to go ahead and shed some light on the similarities and the differences that make up the $1,000 price tag difference. So there is a fairly common question about the differences between these two rifles. The front one here is the Pro Hunter 2, and the one in the back is the Element from Seekins Precision. So, both of these rifles are chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor, so this will make a great comparison between the two here, since they're both short actions and run virtually the same mags, which are like the AC-762 mags. Let me start out with the obvious thing here, the stocks. Both of them are in the exact same stock. They are a carbon fiber and composite stock. They're both, from the factory exactly the same. Mine on my Element, I have modified slightly, so it is different, but the stocks coming from the factory are the same. They both have a Trigger Tech trigger in them, so that part is all equal. Like I said, both of them are in 6.5 Creedmoor, but that is kind of where a lot of the similarities kind of fade. The bolts in both of them are the same in the fact that you can change out the bolt heads, but the actions are definitely different in here. So let's take a little closer look at these actions. The first one here is the Element. The second one here is the Pro Hunter. Both of them use the same bolt. It's got the 4-lug quick change head. You just turn that rear cocking piece on there, the whole thing spins out. You can take your firing pin out. That's all exactly the same in there. Both of these actions, if you look right down there, you can see the bedding compound where they bed them into the stocks on the front and the rear. The actions themselves, though, you can see the obvious thing here in your Picatinny rails. Both of them are 20 MOA rail, but on the Pro Hunter, that one is screwed down to the top of the receiver. On this one, this is machined right into the top of the receiver. And on the back of it, right there, there is a bubble level right in there. The other major thing about the material they actually use is this receiver is actually made out of aluminum. On the Pro Hunter, it's made out of stainless steel. That's where a lot of the weight comes out of the Element, is by that aluminum receiver. What they do to thread the barrel in there then is put a stainless steel barrel extension in there, which you can kind of see right at the edge of that. The other thing that they do to cut down weight on the Element is the barrel contour. This Element right here, Pro Hunter right here, you can definitely see that there is a difference in thickness, and if we look right here in weight, the Element is only a 21-inch barrel. The Pro Hunter is a 24-inch barrel in the 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, I will go ahead and take both of these actions out of these stocks, and I will show you another major design feature that is different between the two. Now, let's take a look inside these stocks here. You see where the bedding part is here, and there, both of them have front and rear pillars in there, but you can see that that footprint is definitely different between the two. On the Element here, it doesn't have your standard recoil lug. It actually has an indentation right there and is flat on both the front and the rear of that aluminum action. So in here, the recoil lug is actually in the stock itself. On the other one, on the Pro Hunter 2, this action is actually a Remington 700 footprint. So some would say that the Pro Hunter 2 actually has the advantage with having that Remington 700 footprint in there over the Element here. Because then if you wanted to, you know, change out your stock or go to a chassis like right here, my Graybull. This is actually going to be for my 22 Creedmoor. I mean, I can take this, just drop that action right down in there, you know. Actually looks pretty good too. Other things that some people might say, you know, where the Pro Hunter 2 has the advantage is the fact that with the longer barrel, can you get a little bit more velocity out of it? Sure, you can, but realistically, I mean, it's probably not going to be that much more. And if you're hand loading for it, then you can kind of change your powders up and tune that a little bit anyway, depending on your projectile. The biggest thing I'll have to say, you know, between both of them, I mean, yes, this one is Remington 700 footprint, this one is not. So with the Element, you don't have the ability to really just drop this in any of the major chassis or stocks and stuff like that. But then again, most people don't anyway. So I don't really know how much of a factor that is. I mean, maybe you've got your favorite stock, you know, that you want to put it in. Maybe you don't. But both of these are very ergonomic. And I would say that, you know, the majority of people, 95% of them, aren't going to change it. The one thing that this Element really has going for it is the weight. This thing weighs 5.5 pounds, just bare rifle, where the Pro Hunter 2 is 6.9 pounds. I mean, that's the difference of if I add a lightweight scope to this thing, my scope and rifle combo weigh just as much and maybe a little bit less than what this bare rifle weighs. So, if you really are ultralighting it, I mean, this Element definitely has the advantage of the whole mantra of ounces equal pounds and pounds equals pain. I mean, this is going to get that weight dropped out for you. I mean, yes, it does have a little bubble level in the back of it, you know, especially on a mountainside when everything is at an angle. I mean, that's definitely a benefit to have that in there, but, you know, you can hang a level off your scope anyway. So, I mean, it is nice to have it built in. That way it's not hanging off. But, you know, it's kind of a very small point. But the guy that wants the Element really does want that ultralight rifle, you know, and that's where it gets you, is down there at 5.5 pounds. I mean, this thing is just nothing to carry this thing around. When you know, pick up the Pro Hunter 2, yeah, you can tell. It's definitely a little more front end heavy because of that barrel and because of that weight. So, I mean, the option is kind of up to you on which one you want more. I mean, I don't do a lot of mountain style hunting. There's no mountains in Iowa, but I kind of like that little bit heavier barrel profile myself. But I do keep this thing around because, I mean, especially coyote hunts, if you got to walk in somewhere, I mean, we do have some hilly spots, but at night, sometimes this shorter distance and then putting a can on it, I mean, you put a can on a 24 or 26-inch barrel, and that really turns that thing into a pool cue. So, I mean, it's just kind of up to preference as to which one that you like better. I just figured I'd make a quick little video on these two today here while I had both of them. I mean, it seemed like a pretty good opportunity to answer some questions that, you know, I've gotten about these two models. I mean, both of them shoot about the same when you find an ammo that they both like, but, I mean, it really is up to you. If you found this video informative, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button for me. It really helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. If you have any comments or questions, ask them down below, and I'll do my best to try to get back to you and get you an answer. But that's all for today's video. I got to get my scope put back on here so I can get it re-zeroed up. Hopefully, we'll catch you on the next one.